This day 538 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. If you'd like to sponsor upcoming shir or more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, just contact me directly. It'd be very greatly appreciated. Today we are doing Siman Shin Chav Beis Daled and Siman Shin Chav Gimel Daled to Gimel. Okay. Daled Perish Noshimino Elon, fruit which fell off a tree on Shabbos or Nechlish or plucked from a garden on Shabbos. Assume both of you can't eat them that day. Because we're afraid that you might go up then and pluck them out for yourself if you can eat the ones which fall off. Now, even without that svara of you might go up and cut them off, it's also because of muktzah. It was connected to the ground during twilight. I feel there was Shimon Moida Muktzah the Mechubar. Rabbi Shem can see there's a Muktzah of Mechubar. It's as if you push it off with your hands. The grogos of Timukim, just like drying dates, figs and raisins. However, sometimes there is no Muktzah, such as when the tree stands in a courtyard, or a beam, and you have ravens, that they pluck off the fruit frequently. And you had in mind that the ravens are going to pluck fruit of the tree on Shabbos. Sometimes there's even no gzera. They might go up and cut off. The gzera this decree only applies to a tree. In one moment you can pluck from it. Then you can forget for a moment about Shabbos. But root vegetables, or actually not just root vegetables, but I guess the other vegetables also, which require you need a shovel or a hoe to dig them up. In that case, is no gzera. Should have been meshach because that takes time. And of course, the time that it takes, he's kosher Shabbos. He's going to remember that Shabbos. For that case, you need the reason of muktzah. So you need both gzera shemiyah leviitlosh for the case of the ravens, and you need the muktzah for the case of the root vegetables. After Shabbos over, the food is immediately permitted. You don't wait now the time we're taken to pluck them after Shabbos. No prohibited malach was doing that. Was done with them. They fell on their own. We didn't make a decree in that case to wait for the shias by in Siman Shin Chav. Hey, Amrina Bebeitza. Okay, Bema, Ebem Shum Tinku Keli. Fixing animal fodder is not Tikkun Keli. Klomar. The Yeshvanim Isabasir Davar She'eno Klum. There is a prohibition of making something which is really not something which is nothing, but it means something which is very of slight significance. Because they're clear. It's a keli nevertheless. Also, chayav chatas, and somebody makes it, is liable to come chatas. Konjanita kisam. Another case is you take a piece of wood, and you fix it in order to floss your teeth, pick your teeth. I've got love kumu, even though it's insignificant. You come nevertheless shame kli. How's that? It's a kli. Because we use to pick at your teeth. That's with a piece of wood. But if you have straw or hay, which an animal can eat, there's no chiv deraisa for making a keli out of it, because already was useful beforehand. You can prepare the hay or the straw in order to pick your teeth. With the koma, and you can shape it even with a knife. To make it suitable for this purpose. But the reason is the cold anything which is designated for eating purposes. It's considered prepared for all purposes. I can eat it any way I want. If to shape it or to break it. So this is the case not just with human food, but also with animal fodder. There's no tikkun keli. Avokisam also little shinav, but the twig of wood can't take it to pick your teeth. I feel like it's even though it doesn't, even if it doesn't require tikkun. The shemi about takno lizeh, because maybe you are going to be sucking it. You're chayav chatas if you shaped it in order to prepare for that purpose. So the Mishnah Berurah says that it's only when you're coating with a kli that can be a chiyuv daraisa. If you don't use your hand in order to shape the piece of the twig, that's not a chiyuv daraisa. The Bir Halacha says that this kisam, you're not allowed to carry it for sort of gufo for other things which are muksa. I'm not sure exactly what he's referring to. But you can't take this thing. No, that's me. Since it's 18 bavonim, then it's not considered to be mukhan for anything, and therefore you're not allowed to move it. If a kisam you were allowed to shape a kisam, so then it wouldn't be mukta. Like but you're not allowed to. So therefore, it's like 18 bavonim, you can't move it. Okay, back to Arukh HaShulchan. He invited a guest for a meal on Shabbos. He didn't have time to prepare toothpicks. Look at that. Because covered up they let you make toothpicks on Shabbos. In this place is considered to be denigrating if you don't pick your teeth. But still, you can't make it, you can't shape it. Just take a piece of wood and use it as is. The Mishayatiyim goes further. Now you're allowed to take it, but you can shape it with your hand if it's not possible for you to use it to pick your teeth unless you do that. So now with a keli, which might be with the raisa, but for the rabbanon of shaping with a hand, that would be okay. And so Roshon finishes the sikr l'takin kli ba'ochlim v'adei osir. Even a tikkun keli. Takin kli ba'ochlim v'adei osir. I fixed it. It sounds like fixing another keli. If you have a leak, stopping it up with food, it's definitely also because by food there's no tikkun keli, but if you use the food to masak in a keli, to fix another keli, that's also. Things which are made to smell. They don't have the severity of fixing a vessel. That's so you can take fragrant wood and smell it. And to wave them in front of a sick person. The mutal leaf, and even for a well person, it's possible that the fragrance is considered to be so advantageous you're allowed to do it as well. And Mishnah Berurah says it's definitely mutter. Okay, Arukh HaShulchan says maybe it's mutter. Mishnah Berurah says it's definitely mutter. The kol mo masak b'yado, and you can shape it and fix it with your hand. Avalo b'kelim out of the vessel. Even though animal fodder you can fix even with a knife. They macher by the fragrant wood. Because they're not designated to eat. You can rub it in your hand in order to smell better. As a matter of it's a hard twig or a soft twig. It was simon tough kufiyah is bar the dafka see freach mutter. When it's already fragrant. To add that fragrance is permissible. Aval, lead react, but to create new fragrance, that's also. And Shom Sheish, Prita Dinim Zeh, there are going to be specific details in this matter. The Mishnah Berurah says that soft ones, oh boy, he's really making on this simon. He says soft, soft fragrant wood is like Machal Behema. You're allowed to shape it even with a vessel. Okay. Zayin, b'nei chabura ochlim b'yachad kol echad mishlo. The people in a group eat together, each one from its own supplies. Uvashi yachad, but they cook together. When they come to eat it, they redistribute among themselves. If they're meticulous with each other, one of them is not foregoing anything for the benefit of his friend. Asurim lechol yacha b'Shabbos. They're not allowed to eat together on Shabbos. Why? Because it's likely that they'll come on account of their kpeda, their protestation, the right word, but their objection to somebody else taking their stuff. So they might come lidei mishkov de minyan, to weigh and to enumerate about pi minyan, and based on the enumeration, they come to reckoning. They come to measuring. So if you're makbid, and I guess also lying behind all this is the possibility of ultimately doing the deraisa of writing, like any other calculations. We don't know if they're makbid or not. Mutter, we assume they're not makbid. But if they come to draw lots, who's going to get this portion? Who's going to get that portion? Even if we don't know that they are makbid each other, it's also by making a lottery. We see they are makbid. So these people who are makbid each other, they shouldn't eat together on Shabbos. But generic neighbors can eat with each other. Because it's definitely not going to be obsessed about this, and they're not going to come to make lotteries. And Mr. Bohr with a bigger kula here, he says that even if the shchenim, the neighbors, are obsessed with this, nevertheless it's permissible. Because I guess that as long as they don't actually measure, it would probably be impolite to measure, so therefore we're not afraid that they're going to measure on Shabbos. But I assume we're agree with the next halacha of a begar asurim, but to make an actual lottery is also. Rabbi Chazal said that a householder with his children and members of his household, he can draw lots on the portions. Because since it all belongs to him, it's not relevant to talk about somebody's obsessed over somebody else's use that they might come to that soon, because it's all one big happy family. He's doing lottery in order that people should understand that the distributing the portions was done randomly. It's only if the portions are equal. But one of them is a larger portion, one is a smaller portion. You're not allowed to do that even among the members of your household to make a lottery. Who will get the big piece, who gets the small piece. So even with children, members of his household. It's like gambling. And on Shabbos, it's also to gamble because it's like a commercial activity. And even on a weekday, there are those who are using dice. That's the Rambam. I am sure that's opinion of the Rambam. You're not allowed to draw lots and to play dice and Shabbos. It's like commercial activity. Except with members of his household. They can do it because they're not obsessed with each other. It sounds like he's allowing this even if you are you're making a lottery on large ones versus small ones. Since everything is his, it's only laughter and emotional relationships. That's all it is. The Ram allows it, but the Tur asks. Like I said previously. The Queen Basuga Sagamara and Sham Sagamara and Shabbos Tafel Test. He said by Gemara, it says Gemara, Shumatin Goros by Mikdash, they would make lotteries in the base of Mikdash, Al Chelke Kochim Shmigia Lahem. On the portions of Kochim that they get, that they should be distributed appropriately. Neshachil Kochim have a Dvar Mitzvah. Well, the reason why that's okay is because the Chil Kochim is a Dvar Mitzvah to eat the Karbanos. The law also goes with Dvar Mitzvah, they didn't answer lotteries in mitzvah scenarios. Lachem Matil Hekdesh. That's going to make a lottery in some which is Hekdesh. Or Shar Dvar Mitzvah and any other mitzvah matter. Mishabur here is more Machmir. Passing by Abraham that a lottery in order to make a distribution of Shabbos is also. But if you make a lottery in order to decide who's going to say Kaddish, that's okay. That is Dvar Mitzvah. Okay, now Arukh HaShulchan goes on to say, Avashlo Dvar Mitzvah, also to go over the time of the verse mitzvah, not allowed to make a lottery. She says, okay, make a mekar, it's like commercial activity. But for Yehudi, even non-Jews making the goro. Also, let's go over Shabbos, you still can't make a lottery on Shabbos. Shumza Inyan Atzmo, Kamekar Kamekar. The lotteries are like commercial activity. The brackets, he brings down, okay, Avram Sipkat and test over the Gam Dvar Mitzvah, Shoyochol Atim Esmo also. He says, even for a mitzvah purpose, if you could have done it yesterday, you can't do it today on Shabbos. Raya Shevi Misham Mishem Memanos Shachol? No. You're getting old. Raya Shevi Misham Memanos Shachol, the evidence he brought from there from distributing the portions on a weekday, the Asa till go based on Mikdash, that you're not allowed to make a lottery based on Mikdash, and a Raya. It's not proof. Mishum the Hasan Bemis ain't a Goro Kedin. It's there the lottery was not made as halacha. Shein Chokin Zvakin Negas Zvakin, which costs a Tesham Diyam Asmaton, because you can't divide up karbanos vis-a-vis other karbanos. But ain't allowed to shkita riva, so to diminish arguments. Pichach lo itiru al shalchol, so they only allow that on Shabbos, not on a weekday. I am shamaduk. Then he says in the other brackets, about girls by mitzvah mutter lottery for mitzvah purpose is permissible, but that's only enemy because piska. Interesting. He says not when everybody has a little ticket and you pick up the tickets. The zevade also. That's still like Mekha Memcha. Ella Gorab Sichas a Sefer. You do a Gorab Agra type thing. Open up a Sefer. Read Osios and to see which letters come up. Kanahuk. So letters will go to Alabase. Will go to one side and Alabase about the other side. Mashulo or Gorab Lechem Apanim. That which there was no a lottery on the Lechem Apanim Beit Hamikdash, the Ram is Leah Magen Avram, Vayitol Gora b'Shabbos, which Magen Avram seems to say is the evidence he should make on Shabbos. Says the Arukh HaShulchan, not necessarily. That's what Magen Avram said. Yeah, he wants to bring a Mono Shachol Gasa to Gora Beit Hamikdash. Ufiyash Latzi Atzi Shapir V'Duk, because according to what the Arukh HaShulchan said, the issue was perhaps only the fact that they would use tickets, and not the fact that they would make the roll together. Although I thought in Beis Hamikdash, no, I don't know what they when for the pious in the morning they use fingers which they stuck up. But probably for something else it would be like a regular lottery, and therefore be seen like commercial activity, and that they were not matir even in the Beis Hamikdash on Shabbos. Shein Chav Gimel Din Tefillah. Well, they were matir on a weekday. Actually, I take that back. The Mono Shachol now doing a weekday, and now doing on Shabbos as well, because it looks like commercial activity. Shin Chav Gimel, Din Tfilas Kelim B'Adol Choslan. The law of Tfilas Kelim and washing them, Lito Pesach and Bani B'Tzad Hetzer, and how you can take fruit from a storekeeper in a way which is permissible. Aleph, David do it's well known, Shemekach Memkor, also B'Shas Yom to be not allowed to do commercial activity on Shabbos and Yom Tov. Ben Shemach L'fi Mamish, whether you're selling something with a verbal agreement, or you give him an object in a way that's clear that it's a sale. By Shemosh Lev Shabbos, where you do Mashiach on an object on Shabbos. Near Af Im Osu Mekach Me'erev Shabbos. It seems even if they made the sale before Shabbos began, Menosai Amos, and he gave them money for Shabbos again. What Moshe Chem Shabbos always doing is taking the object of Shabbos. Ganking also, it's also fitting. Came the Ikar Hakinyan Mashiach, because the primary kinyan is the pulling into your jurisdiction, and that's on Shabbos. But I feel Dibru Klum, and even they didn't speak anything at all, just understood it's also that's the deal. It's still also. And there's no difference in terms of commercial activity between objects and between food and beverage. You only borrow from your friend what you're missing in food and beverage. Even from a storekeeper, you can do that as well. Give me this food or this beverage. Even though they both know that after Shabbos he's going to pay for it. Nevertheless, Shabbos, it's not commercial activity. It's like your credit card is only charged, later on. So here too, it's not commercial activity is not considered to originate until money is paid. Before that is like a matana, I guess. Mutar can say a friend, Maleli Kli Zeh, Yain or Shamashka, full of me, this container full of wine or any other beverage. But people claim Yuchal even if it is a measuring cup, with which you sell the entire week. Nevertheless, came Shino masculine Shum Davis, since you don't mention anything about the measures, NMD that's not considered measuring, that's not considered to be a commercial activity. It says in brackets, you can say, fill for me and I'll pay you. Play it out to me, no, I have no idea why he's not to this. It's certainly also to mention the payment. The master of Rama Pertes, Yontek Dal, Yontek, Mikol Peskin. Basically, Lomar Malay Klizet, when it allowed you to say, fill this vest for me. You had to me that's one which is designated for measuring. Ain't a look, Shinoito Klizet Malichla base. It's only if he takes this vessel and brings it home. I'm Loya V Kli Mi Beso. But if he doesn't bring his own keli from home, from which his friend will pour into his vessel. I read this wrong. Sorry. This is only okay when you take the keli home from the chenvani, right? Starting here from base. Even though it's something which is a measuring cup, it's only when you're going to take that very keli from the storekeeper, and take it home. But don't bring a vessel from your house. And his friend should pour from his measuring cup into your vessel which you brought with you. Which is there. That really looks like commercial activity. Eliomar should say, Maleli Klize Shevesimi Basi. Fill for me without mentioning a measure of any sort. This vessel which I brought from the house. Or you can fill them in a vessel which is not one of measuring. And pour it into his vessel. Because if it's not, doesn't have measurements on it, it doesn't look like commercial activity. The Ramah says some people make it as long as he doesn't have mind to measure out at all. In other words, you add or take away a little, it's only rough. It's short, it's mitzvah akashono. Clear meaning, if you take a little bit less than the measure, it's not considered to be theft. Because everybody knows that's what you have to do in Shabbos Yom. That's cute. Some people put into the measuring cup a ring or some other object, Shena Mukta, of Malamida, then able to fill the measure. That's a sign that you don't want the precise measure. Because the place where the ring is now is lacking. He says also that the wise minhag is to measure with a kli, which is designated for measuring, and then pour into the kelim of the buyer. The Taz makes great noise against this. Now, I can't stand it. In fact, that's not the minhag by us. We don't use measuring cups at all. So on Shabbos, but the person who takes it in his own vessel. And they measure after Shabbos how much that vessel held. This is a proper thing to do. Below the and not to change. But the Mishnah Berurah says you can do the ring thing. So again, he's more lenient. You can tell your friend, fill for his vessel today, so tomorrow we'll measure it. Even though with this he's hinting that he's going to measure and pay according to the amount which is measured. He doesn't say it explicitly. It's possible. Even though it's remote. Hakavana, that he's really just borrowing it. And tomorrow we'll measure how much I have to return to you. But for sure that the buyer cannot say, give me such a measure. Even though he could say, give me this vessel. You can't measure, you can't say, give me this liter or this quart full measure. Because when you mention a measure, it's like commercial activity, but also it's forbidden. So fill to me, not specifying how much it holds. Because that language also can be construed to be borrowing and not purchasing.